Center shafted putters versus the blade. Which type of model is going to be for you? But more importantly, how do you test these two iconic models to ensure that you're going to get in the right one for your game? This video is going to run through that. 3 different lengths, 3 different things you should look out for, and then the conclusion on the way you should go. Be sure to hit subscribe. They're all going to help you as you go through this process to get the right putter for your game. Center shafted putters are absolutely in the marketplace now, and all of us are seeing them week in, week out. Doesn't matter if it's on the tour, doesn't matter if it's at your local club, and they've taken a new lease of life. Then you have the blade, the classic looking putter with that heel shaft. It has the toe hang that we're all accustomed to. But when do you choose which one? And is there a specific length of putt where they suit you more? We're going to start with 5 feet. We're going to move back to about 15. And then we will go to the long range putt and talk about what you should look for when it comes to getting the right putter shape for you. We may touch on mallets and blades. We may well touch on a few other things. Dive in the video. Now, when it comes from making a 5-footer, and let's go through the routine a little bit here, is the blade or the center shaft going to work more? That ultimately is what we want to decide. No problem. Now, path of a putter, because we have the heel shaft in here and the hands inside, with this lie angle, is always going to want to move slightly inside. As it comes to a putt of this length, the path isn't really going to be impacted because it's such a short putt. However, when it comes to, let's talk zero torque, so this still has a profile. Notice the toe wants to go up in this putter, but let's stick on center shafts for now. And the number one thing that you see as I set up to this, albeit this one has a grip that is slightly off center to combat that the shaft, it isn't a true center shaft because it goes back slightly into the head, but you can notice that my hand position versus the full shaft of offset, if you think about it in relation to the blade, is now going to be in a slightly different position. There was a putter company in the 90s, Seymour Putters. Payne Stewart used one to win the US Open, and that was all about setting your hands level with the golf ball. So really, when you go for these center shafts, the first thing you're going to notice is that your hand profile takes a different place. Now, call out number 1, and I think something that's very important for blade users, if we think about Jordan Spieth, Alex Noren on the European Tour, they put left hand low and they go hands ahead. Noren has a big forward press. Spieth puts his hands here and then leads with his left wrist. I believe, from working with tour players, if you want to putt left hand low, it can be a spider, it can be a mallet, but I think it really lends itself to that as you are working on keeping the left wrist where it needs to be. Now back to our putt here and the center shafted. The proof comes into, can we make more from this distance? Well, in this one particular short test, which I'd never recommend you just do 2 putts, but look at the real estate. And one thing that I have fallen in love with is the contrasting view of the silver versus the body of the black. So if you are going to then consider a putter model, maybe think about on your eyes, like this looks amazing. I have a completely matte black prototype tailor-made Soto. It looks fantastic, but your eye needs to lend itself to that. 5 feet to wrap it up is a very short putt. You want to be having a high percentage of make from this range because this is a big deal. If you can make a lot of these, you can improve your golf. To put it on one model, center shafted or heel shafted from here, this all ties into why you got to get a fitting. But are you someone who wants your hands in front because you hold it left below right? Are you someone who likes to feel maybe a little bit more? You could argue there's a bit more feel from a blade type, but this hosel can go on either. So I'm going to leave this at the moment that isn't a clear winner yet from this short range. Now, teaser, spoiler maybe, my opinion is going to change as we go further away. But I think if you put effort and time in and you do the right drills, the 5-footer isn't going to be the difference maker for telling you which model to go for. So we're going to move back to a slightly longer length. We might actually be the 10 to 12 feet range here. The tour make percentage, I don't have it off the top of my head, but it drops significantly once you get out of that shorter range to this range. Now I think the putter makes more of an impact. This is just under the length that we test at here at the Kingdom, but I think for strokes now, you don't hit the center as often. I've seen it with the best players in the world. The other thing is, and we all have stroke tendencies, is my understanding from being around some great putting coaches, and they label them like 1, 2, and 3 on some of the various training aids you could get, but it dictates the arc that you have as a preference. So some of us will arc the putter in more than others as we have a different profile that we go into. That is when a torque profile of the putter and the toe hang of the putter will suit different eye dominances I've seen on tour and different amounts you take the putter inside. So you need to really be at home before you go to the store, put down your camera and figure out how much do I move the putter inside. And the more you move it inside, it's not a golden rule, but potentially you want to see more of this toe flow, this toe hang. I like more of a straight back, straight through. I fall into the tendency where I like to be more upright. I don't like the putter moving significantly inside. My tendency is for it to go there, but getting to the center shafted now, where I feel like the shaft wants to move on the path, because the shaft is in the middle of the putter, because the shaft is in the middle of the ball. Now I feel like, okay, if I just rock the shaft through there, I'm going to make it. If I can get the shaft being the path, I'm going to have more success. Now look, this is a Mallet. It's got the wings back here. We can't make a video without saying MOI. Of course we can't. But at the end of the day, this is a more forgiving model than the other model. If you are in love with the responsive nature of this putter, if you're in love with your hands being ahead, I think if you're a left below right guy, I'm not saying this is the route you go, but I have seen more success with those left hand low guys having the angle ahead. I've seen more success with this model. I think if you're left eye dominant, you can go into any toe hang you like. I think if you're right eye dominant, zero torque works, or having more toe hang works. But from this distance, do we hit the middle every time? Like, that was toey. It got there and it went in, but I definitely caught a little bit of toe on that. I start to gravitate now with my understanding of putters more towards a center shafted option, because for my stroke tendency, which doesn't have a lot of arc, the center shafted just moves that bit easier and gives me that responsive nature that I want. I do think there's benefit to mallets. I'm not saying the blade is dead, but I'm saying it's getting an old age, and I'm saying it's something that you're going to see less of. And if you're a junior golfer watching this, or a parent with a young stud coming up, I'd get on the Mallet, and I would be going down the route of high MOI helps you. All of their favorite stars that they see on the TV now are starting to play mallets, and it's for good reason. But if you do like the sleek look of this and it still appeals, there's a reason why I've still got this prototype wrapped away in my garage. Yeah, it only comes out for YouTube videos, but there's a reason. One more putt to look at, and that's going to be a distance lag putt. I think you're starting to paint the picture as to what my tendency would be. I didn't want to commit to it from 5 feet, but I do want to commit to it as we get into the longer one. For the record here, I want it known that picking a putter off a shelf in a carousel where you've got 40, 50 putters around you, it's not an ideal scenario. I want you as a player to have data. That would be my recommended preference. But I get it. That's not right for everyone. We all can't do that. Sometimes we get into the store, we just start making everything with a certain model. If you want to go down that route, you can. But for me to endorse that and say that's what you do, it's not the ideal scenario. There are things you can do to build up and help yourself when it comes to better putting. Going into the store and testing only there is a bit of a gamble. Do it if you want, but it's a bit of a gamble. So when it comes to your longer putt, now arc and movement plays a big part of it. And I think now at this stage, for me, I've always liked a full shaft of offset because I know I can get a consistent loft on the golf ball. Now we're getting into an element, if we go out to our GoPro out there, just having that set handle ahead and rocking for the strike where the ball comes out there. Was that a slight pull? Maybe. But you're probably going to take it from this distance for sure. Now, where does centre shafted help me here? I just think it simplifies things. I do feel the benefit of zero torque, which again, having lie angle balance, zero torque, toe up, it's a totally different feeling again. I'm maybe a little longer in my golfing journey than some of you guys watching it. I would perhaps start in this element. For me, it's all about getting rid of the huge curve inside, having the shaft feeling like it's on the path, having the club going straight into the face. Just leaves you with that end over end. Now that wasn't a very good putt, but such is the mallet nature of this, the ball speed got it to the distance. Yes, I lost a lot of direction, but for someone who's gone through these tests and ended up in a longer, different method altogether, which we've done videos on, it's a different feel. I could actually work into a centre shafted from here is the appeal for this setup where you have the best of both worlds. The one deciding factor I would say in this is I probably wouldn't go blade anymore unless you're a total traditionalist and this is something that appeals to you. I'm big time on the train personally of having this. So I think if you're going centre shafted, this is a great option with this grip, 100%. That is the route that I would recommend to go. And I think if you build your putting around it, give it a go through the process. Data wins. There's a couple of check boxes you have to get done. I press everyone to be a player and get out on the green and feel what you like, knowing your tendencies. A great fitter is going to walk you through that process. They're going to look at your launch conditions and then they get you into the right putter. Everything points towards getting fitted. I don't understand why you wouldn't go down that route these days. If you want to save strokes on your game, which we can all do here on the putting green, a fitting is key to this process.